Day 19 of what I consider to be pretty ropey videos, if I'm honest with you. This is not up to my usual standard. 19 videos that would generally have not seen the light of day because of the kind of quality that I like to try and produce as a filmmaker. But there is a method behind this madness, and I'd like to try and take a few minutes just to explain the reason behind doing it, and also a little bit of research and theory of how this is going to work and make me a better filmmaker in the long run. So we all know that classic interview question when they say, can you tell us about a weakness? And people kind of humble brag and go, well, actually, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, you know. I like to make sure everything's perfect. You know what? That is a massive red flag for me and anyone else in the creative industry. Perfectionism, this idea that everything has to be perfect and therefore you're a great person to work with, usually results in working with people that never get anything done. I've played on many albums that have never seen the light of day because of perfectionism. In typical kind of LinkedIn profile type thing, perfectionism is this thing that people see as a positive, but actually it is a colossally important thing to avoid if people say that they have it. Next thing down on the list is something called maximalism. Now that's kind of where I sit with my filmmaking. So when I make a film, when I make a YouTube video, it's based on an idea and I will do everything I can within my power to get that idea across. And I love making them using B-rolls for slow motion stuff and doing research and using graphics and scripting it and literally taking as much time as I can to craft my films. But of course that all takes time, and if I don't have that time, the net result of that is that videos either take ages to put together or they just don't happen at all. So in terms of maximalism, when we have no restrictions on time or budget or skill or anything, that's what we usually try and arrive at. And in my industry, it's a kind of very sought after thing. We'll plow all of our efforts into one thing and get it as good as possible. That's maximalism. In 1956, the American polymath Herbert Simon coined the phrase satisficing. And this is my new favorite word. Satisficing is a portmanteau, I guess, I think I'm using that word right, of satisfactory and sufficient. Basically, when something is good enough. Now in my industry, and I'd imagine most industries, we sit somewhere between maximalism and satisficing. Sometimes we just have to hit the brief with minimal time, minimal budget, and as little effort as we can put in to get it over the line. That's absolutely fine. I have to do that in my day-to-day job. I have to do it for clients. I have to do it in work, everything else that happens, and I'm sure you do too. But in my kind of filmmaking world, in terms of YouTube, I tend to err on the side of maximalizing. Now, obviously, when you get more budget and more time, you can maximize your work. And we generally sit in these kind of two brackets, just good enough or as best as we can do it. But as I said previously, my problem with making all my videos maximal, and because there's no time frame on this and I don't make any money out of it, I love the process of filmmaking, but what I don't love is when I have an idea but I actually end up not ever doing it because I'm maximalizing it. So these daily vlogs are kind of exposure therapy to satisficing, something that's good enough. Now, that does not mean just making a video and posting it and going, hi, yeah, I went boxing yesterday and I went for a run, and that's the end of that. These videos have got to have purpose. Every single day, they still have to have the same importance and value and meaning and purpose as one of my fully fledged maximalized videos. I have to think it through. They have to be something that comes from my brain and means something to me. Otherwise, they have no purpose. And we all know that purpose is absolutely the most important thing in the world. So they have to have that, but they also have to be like this, filmed on an iPhone, straight after a gym session, probably edited on my phone, uploaded from my phone, and job done. Satisficing. Good enough. The reason for my exposure therapy with that. Now you know. Now let me tell you about yesterday. So I had a gym session where I did my shoulders and then I went boxing, and I have to say, day 18 this would have been, I was, by the time I got into bed, utterly ruined. I have to say, I was broken by the end of yesterday. It's the first day out of the last nearly 3 weeks where I was in bits. And that's okay because today is essentially a rest day. I've just done a chest day, but no kind of cardio, nothing too strenuous. And tomorrow is more of a strenuous cardio day, but I don't have any weights. So I kind of have this A, B, B, A kind of rest day between Friday and Saturday. So fingers crossed, tomorrow is going to be the first proper park run and have a bit of a core session, a yoga session, which I actually really enjoy. I may have to change my boxing day to a Friday. And I'll tell you why. This isn't a cop-out thing. This is the opposite of a cop-out thing. We do some sparring at the gym on a Friday, and I quite fancy a little bit of that. So I might have a look to see, once my chops are up a little bit with the boxing stuff, I might see if a little bit of sparring might come into play, but that will just be me switching my Thursday and my Friday. Anyway, that is it. You've learnt a new word, thanks to Mr. Herbert. Simon, satisficing. So most of our work sits in the middle, but these videos are satisficing, and I will see you on day 20, nearly there, end of week 3. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.